here on the Pro Wrestling Show. WrestleMania 37, the card keeps growing and growing. As Raw and SmackDown have matches announced. With the rivalries, well, putting Fastlane on the back burner. We head to WrestleMania in 2 weeks. We'll talk about that. Plus, we'll have the Hall of Fame. More names to be announced. Won't believe these two giant of a man that used to be WrestleMania opponents. We'll get you the backstory on that. Plus, the latest on Andrade and Charlotte. Situation. Well, all this and more in the Pro Wrestling Show. Start right now. This edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I'm your host as always, Ken Beats here on the Pro Wrestling Show this weekend edition. We're gonna cover everything from Raw to SmackDown to NXT and AEW. You name it, we're gonna cover it. But first thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling Hell Connect, and don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit the subscribe button so you won't miss a thing. And later on, we'll have hot topics on wrestling, what's going on with the latest, with the two Hall of Famers being announced, and Andrade getting his release, and what's next for him. Well, let's get started with the SmackDown Ring Report. The SmackDown Ring Report tonight, SmackDown kicked off with Daniel Bryan. He opened the show saying he wants a rematch against Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And he won't leave the ring until he gets it. He was standing in the ring for the first commercial break. He held the show on hostage until he got what he wanted. Well, Adam Pearce came out there trying to reason with Daniel about he had his shot. And then Daniel offered that he can take on whoever wins the Edge and Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania for night 1. Which I thought it was night 2 for that match. But he wasn't going to let anything go by. Well, Adam Pearce told Daniel Bryan, we have to wait and see on that matter. He couldn't do it. So Bryan suggested that Edge came out there, took exception to the match, and took out Daniel Bryan, hit him with a steel chair, and hit him with a spear. So this was far from over between Edge and Daniel Bryan. It's like Edge and Daniel Bryan, with Edge trying to come back. We thought he had a comeback story, and all of a sudden Daniel Bryan comes out of nowhere, and the fans forcing Daniel Bryan, again, the Daniel Bryan effect for WrestleMania 30, if you remember, about 6 years ago to the day, 7 years ago. Yeah, 7 years ago. And Daniel Bryan, on that night, he went against Evolution. He defeated Evolution. He wanted to do it again. But we had to see and wait. But Adam Pearce was going to make a decision that was going to affect change the landscape of the Universal Championship match at WrestleMania. Speaking of that, former Universal Champion Seth Rollins was in action. He took on Shinsuke Nakamura. Good rematch from that match from Fastlane when Seth won the match. And Seth, they hit the curve stop or something like that on Nakamura. Nakamura was trying to get revenge on Cesaro. So Cesaro came out there, took exception. Cesaro came out there to save his friend Nakamura. And Seth Rollins bailed out of town. But Seth Rollins issued a challenge at WrestleMania between him and Cesaro for a match. Cesaro accepted by doing the same thing with the swings. So Cesaro will get his one-on-one match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. So big up to Cesaro doing that at WrestleMania. Who never would know that Cesaro would have, a couple years ago when he was at WrestleMania 30, won the Battle Royal, going to push him up, and now 7 years later, he's back in a prominent spot at WrestleMania in a singles match. So big up to him. Big up to him. Big up to another person. All these WrestleMania matches coming on, glued and coming together. Apollo Crews teamed up with Apple Accounting. Apollo Crews still wanted the Intercontinental Championship for Fastlane, but he'll get another shot, another opportunity at Big E at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental title. But it'll be on the night 2 edition of WrestleMania. So Apollo Crews have to get the job done. Well, Apollo Crews went against Big E, the Intercontinental Champion, the Street Profits. Good match back and forth. But at the end, Apollo Crews pinned Big E. Now, since his reign that he should have won the title in the beginning last week. I don't get that. Why? It should be Big E challenging Apollo. Apollo should be winning the title. And then Big E chasing Apollo for the title. It's just lame booking. It's just silly booking. But there's another match. In another match added to WrestleMania to this spectacular card, Sami Zayn was a guest on the Kevin Owens show, and Sami was still trying to say that he still think WWE's doing conspiracy theories. Kevin Owens didn't believe into that quarter of that nonsense. Sami attacked him out behind. So Kevin Owens brought Sami Zayn, his former best friend, to the Kevin Owens show. And Kevin asked the question, me and you, one-on-one at WrestleMania. Sami was hesitant at first, but Sami agreed. So it's going to be Sami Zayn against Kevin Owens, one-on-one. And Kevin Owens laid Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn trying to get around the ring, trying to run away. Kevin Owens caught him and hit the stunner. The stunner 1, 2, 3 on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn said he's going to have a red carpet special with Logan Paul, a YouTuber. So Logan Paul is going to be appearing on SmackDown next week on the Sami Zayn Award show. All right. So, now there you go. Also, a WrestleMania match that's already in the making. Number one contender for the Women's Championship, Bianca Belair, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble, went against Natalya, trying to finish up business with Natalya. Says she's not still leaving her eye on Sasha. Husbands came out there, commentary, at WrestleMania. Sasha slapped Bianca trying to prove a point. Bianca won the match over Natalya using that backbreaker move. And that 1, 2, 3. And Bianca returned the favor. But Sasha returned the favor by doing the backstab on him, letting folks know if Sasha turning heel, she shines signs of a heel turn. Notice that. We never know what's going on with that. Women's title match between Sasha and Bianca. They're campaigning now to make that the main event, but I don't see that main event. It'll be Brock and Bobby. That's the main event. I'm being for real. with that. Also, Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic, especially Rey, was in a match against SmackDown Tag Team Champion Dolph Ziggler. Rey doing the most he can in the match, but Rey defeated Dolph Ziggler. We got to wonder, would Rey and Dominic team together to go for the SmackDown World Tag Team title? Only time will tell. It'll be a good side match to see. I think so. And then at the end of SmackDown, Adam Pearce came out there and made his decision. Roman Reigns came out there trying to look and see what Adam Pearce's decision was going to be. Edge came out there. Daniel Bryan came out there. They all wanted to know what Adam Pearce's decision was going to be. The WWE official had to make a decision, a difficult decision. There was no question about it. That this match was going to be a triple threat match. And it ended up, Adam Pearce said it was going to be a triple threat match. And Roman should have knew, Edge should have knew, Daniel Bryan won it. It's the Daniel Bryan effect again. And Daniel Bryan always does that at WrestleMania. Like I said, WrestleMania 30, when it was supposed to be Batista, come back out skirting, wins the Royal Rumble, and you think he's going against Randy Orton for the title, and then Daniel Bryan adds himself in it because the fans want him there. And that's the same effect they're doing, the same template they're doing from 2014. But hey, it is what it is. But that ends the SmackDown Ring Report. Let's move over to the Raw Ring Report. On Monday Night Raw Ring Report, the WrestleMania card as well is growing and expanding. And I mean growing and expanding in more leaps and bounds. Bobby Lashley came out there, the WWE champion, went against Sheamus. Bobby Lashley and Drew will meet at WrestleMania for the WWE title. Sheamus thought he had unfinished business with Drew. Drew finished his business with Sheamus in that no-holds-barred match. Bobby Lashley pinned Sheamus with the Hurt Lock. I don't get why two heels going together. It's kind of odd, but you know what they try to get at with that. Also, Peyton Royce made a comment that on Raw Talk she won an Oscar, and granted, she did get Oscar. The Raw Women's Champion was in action. She went against Peyton Royce for not the championship, but non-title. And Oscar defeat Pam Royce with the Oscar lock. Shouldn't dismissal of Pam Royce. All of a sudden, Rhea Ripley comes out there, challenges Oscar to a championship match at WrestleMania. I know Rhea Ripley was coming, but we didn't know she was coming that soon, that quick. Not gonna be after WrestleMania, but due to this time circumstance, the Raw Women's title needs a injection, and then Rhea Ripley was that injection. Oscar herself, so it'll be Oscar versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. Hopefully Charlotte don't get involved in the match herself, but you never know. It was promoting that Oscar and Rhea Ripley will be doing the contract signing, but we have to wait and see what that's going to come about between them two. Will Charlotte step up and want to make a trip to that match? Knowing Charlotte, she will. Also, The Miz. Miz went against Jeff Hardy. The Miz talking about he wants to challenge Bad Bunny to a match at WrestleMania, but embarrassing him. Yeah, Miz told Bad Bunny to watch the match against Jeff Hardy. That's what he's gonna be like at WrestleMania. Miz won him match. All of a sudden, Bad Bunny come out with a guitar, hitting Miz from behind. Miz did the same to Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny looked like he was out of breath. And he said that he accepts. Now that's another match. All these matches coming together at WrestleMania from Raw and SmackDown from the main show. So Miz and Bad Bunny, one-on-one. And y'all seen Bad Bunny Twitter? He's been posting weird stuff. Like he got pink armpits. And you run a wrestler at WrestleMania? Okay. You're here. Also, two former WWE champions within the ring. Kofi Kingston versus AJ Styles. We know that AJ and his bodyguard Almost will be challenging the New Day for the Raw Tag Team titles. So they had a little quick warm-up match where Kofi Kingston defeat AJ Styles in a good classic match. But AJ won by pinfall, so again, the one with the big man Almost is going to do in that match. Almost standing 7'5". Wow, that's impressive. I don't know where they're going to go, but we'll see. Also, on a 2-on-1 handicap match, the Hurt Business's own former Raw Tag Team champion Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin went against Drew McIntyre. If Drew won, Cedric and Shelton will be banned for ringside in the WWE title match. Well, Bobby Lashley was in trouble and Drew was playing around with Cedric and Shelton. And he won the match, so now both men, who next? MVP? What MVP gonna do at WrestleMania? Maybe use his cane. You don't know. Also, Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler went against the Raw Women's Tag Team Champion. The Women's Tag Team Champion went against Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose. They beat them 1, 2, 3, and Naomi and Lana was at ringside. So look for that being a championship match or multiple time women's title match between all those women. And finally, Alexa Bliss and Randy Orton called out Alexa Bliss. The Fiend showed up. Randy Orton tried to summon the Fiend. The Fiend did show up. The Fiend came out of nowhere. If you saw Fastlane, you know what I'm talking about. That Alexa Bliss defeated Randy Orton by the help of the Fiend. And the Fiend came out there and did some devastating. He looked like he had a mask on. He was like Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees and Darth Vader all rolled into one. But the Fiend did the Sister Abigail, and the Fiend pointed at the WrestleMania side, and Alexa Bliss pointed at it. She said that the Fiend wants to meet Randy Orton at WrestleMania 1-on-1. Wow, it's this long-term story building between the Fiend and Randy Orton. So we'll see how that's going to end up at WrestleMania. All right, that ends the Raw Ring Report. When we return, we'll have more. We'll have the Wednesday Night Ring Reports. And also coming up, we'll have Hot Topics as we'll talk about the 2 latest inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame. They're a giant of a man. And we have what's the latest on Andrade. Got his request. He wanted to release, and he got his release granted. And now Andrade now. What's next? All this and more with the Pro Wrestling Show continues after this. host, as always, Q Dix here on this Pro Wrestling Weekend. Thank you all for watching. First thing first, join in the conversation using the hashtag ProWrestlingConnect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribe and scan. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. We'll get to the Wednesday night ring reports with NXT and AEW. But first, let's get to hot topics. On hot topics this week. All right. We just found out news that Impact Wrestling has decided they want to move to a new night. You know how they go. They want to move on Thursdays instead of Tuesdays. They've been moving since Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Monday. Every other week. They ain't never moved on Sunday. So, you know how they go. But Impact trying to move ahead of schedule before NXT makes the move to Tuesday nights. I mean, how they gonna divide the audience when Impact they in competition with them? Y'all ain't spending no big dollars and no big bucks, so y'all got Twitch for folks who ain't got Access TV or nothing like that. And we gonna pay for Access TV for real. Y'all ain't on no network, no major network, but to each his own. But I could have kept on that. Y'all could have been on, like, I don't know, sometime. Well, we know NXT moving on Tuesdays, so we need to move away from Tuesdays and move on Thursdays. How that gonna pan out? It's SmackDown and shit. But I get it, but you know, there you go. Also, WWE announced a new TV deal in Ireland. So they're going to be doing a recap show on Raw and SmackDown. Hey, that's fine. That works. That works. They're expanding their growth. Who can blame them? Expanding. Also, Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes are getting a reality show. And it's going to be called Rose to the Top. So there they go. Rose to the Top. Cody and Brandy. Rose into the top. Also, Chris Bay is out of action. Impact star, the former X Division champion. Didn't announce it, but he's out of action right now as we speak. So when his recovery, his turn comes, we will know. Also, WWE is not planning on to tour soon. So WWE is not going to tour. Then they're trying to experiment WrestleMania, but they're going to be in the Thunderdome. They moved to the Sundome. So they're supposed to move to Sundome by April 12th. It was the event. The Sundome has held previous WWE events like the WWERAW Rumble back in 1995. Now WWE returning since they've been in the Thunderdome, been running everywhere. They run to Orlando, to that Tampa field. Now there's a lot going on this week. A lot going on this week on WWE. Kane and the Great Khali are the latest inductees into the WWE Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Kane and the Great Khali. Wow, Kane and the Great Khali. And you remember they both wrestled at WrestleMania 23 against each other. So fitting that 14 years later, they're going to the Hall of Fame together. So nice enough. I bet you who gonna duck Kane? I bet you Dan Bryan gonna duck Kane. Bet you gonna do that. Bet you gonna do that. I don't know what Great Khali, probably a translator. There you go. Also, we heard rumors Charlotte's not been missing in action after many people thought she was in with her fiance Andrade wanted to request his leave from WWE. He got his request. And a lot of people thought Charlotte stood and protested, but in actuality, Charlotte had COVID-19. So Charlotte might be coming back. They said she might come back midday. So look for her coming on Raw to interrupt that contract signing. I want her to add her name to the mix. Also, WWE and Peacock. Yeah, the Peacock Network. Peacock streaming service now has the WWE network under their umbrella. They're trying to use their standards and practices to get everything that looks like that was kind of racist or don't make no sense at all. Trying to cut everything, cut between the red tape. They said they cut the Roddy Piper incident at WrestleMania 5, 6 with Bad News Brown. Miss McMahon saying the N word at Survivor Series. I mean, they couldn't. They said they couldn't do everything. They should just look through and say, "Well, we can't. We can't deal with that." That's what I'm like. Peacock put themselves in a predicament that they can't even get themselves out the corner. Peacock, like the Peacock Network. So also, Impact removed Rebellion. They saying the UFC. Impact just trying to avoid fights. You got to look through things through, and you got to see like what works and what. Just don't jump in and then all of a sudden, it's like they're making the move Wednesday, Tuesday, to Thursday nights from Tuesday to Thursday, and they was on Wednesday to Tuesday. I don't know, it was just weird. It was on Wednesday, and then it was on Friday. I don't know. It's just they don't even know what they want to do. For real. And AEW signs Red Velvet, part of the AEW family. I guess they signed him because that pressing match she did with Jade and Shaq, that was a good match. Would like to say that, admit to that. Oh, now there you go. Also, Andrade. We found out Andrade wanted his release. He got his release granted. So now Andrade's a free agent. He never signed a 90-day complete cards, which I'm shocked at that. But you know how they go. But Andrade saying that he's doing things his way. He's gonna do it the way he want to do it. So big up to Andrade. That. We had to wait and see where he lands. Will he reunite with Selena Vega and they will go to a company like AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan or CLM? But you never know. But we'll see. All right, that ends Hot Topics. Let's move over to the NXT Ring Report. On the NXT Ring Report, it wasn't really that much, to be honest with you. NXT did cover a couple of matches. I think Paulo Escobar and Jordan Devlin, they won a dispute to be who's going to be the Cruiserweight champion. All of a sudden, Shawn Michaels comes out there and makes a suggestion and puts the ladder out. And there you go right there. Two who want to be two champions. Put your two belts up in the air and then y'all fight over. And one y'all who picks it becomes the undisputed Cruiserweight champion. Then Finn Balor and Karrion Kross, their saga. I think we're going to see that between Balor and Kross at TakeOver, Stand and Deliver. And then Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. That was a moment right there. They had contract signing. Adam Cole talked about the Undisputed Era was all his brainchild and saying that Karen Omega and I can't remember, but it just didn't pan out with Kyle O'Reilly. And he said he's going to prove a point. We got to wait and see on that. So, with that. Also, let's see. We talked about that. Walter went against Drake Maverick. Walter got challenged by Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa wants a match against Walter for the UK title. It's going to happen at TakeOver. They're trying to be like NXT, trying to be like WrestleMania, their version of WrestleMania. Also, Bronson Reed defeated Eli Drake, LA Knight. LA Knight just coming to WWE, he getting buried. I hope he don't come to the main roster and get, know how they go. Also, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez defeated Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Io and Raquel supposed to have a women's title match at TakeOver, Stand and Deliver. So we had to wait and see on that one. So, all right, that ends the NXT Ring Report. On the AEW Ring Report, AEW kicked off with Ken Omega, the AEW champion, and he was just rambling about any and everything. Let's see what he was saying. He was rambling. Yeah, he went against Matt Sydal, If Max Idea won, he would get a title match. Well, he didn't. I guess he didn't win. No, he did not win. He did not win. Kenny Omega won by pinfall with the one V trigger, the one win Angel. And Heyman Page won against Caesar Banali, won by a clothesline. Also, they talked about Thunder Rosa and Tony Schiavone was talking to Breaker came out there. But Breaker bragging about that hellacious match she had against Thunder Rosa. It was hellacious, but she did pick up the win. Also, Kaz and Christian. They're going to have a match like that old TNA days again. But there you go. Also, the Varsity Blondes and Dwayne Martin. Dante Martin went against FTR, Sean Spears, The Pinnacle. With Tully Blanchard, Warlord, and MJF. And The Pinnacle won, and they cut a promo about the Inner Circle. They ain't seen them. They ain't coming back, and all that nonsense. Also, Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall will meet one-on-one in an exhibition match with Arn Anderson as special guest referee, and that's going to be intriguing to see on that. Also, the Lucha Brothers, Laredo Kid, went against the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. The Lucha Brothers won. Laredo Kid. Kenny Omega comes out now, jumps LaRue, and then he asks the Young Bucks, if you're with me or you against me. The Young Bucks was kind of hesitant, but Young Bucks didn't want to do that, and all of a sudden, it happened. So Young Bucks and Omega are no longer the elite. So you know how that go. And Jade came out there and she did a promo talking about she want a piece of red velvet and she's gonna get it. Also, Nia Rose and Vicky Guerrero went against Ty Conti. Ty Conti won, and Ty Conti's getting better. I don't think with WWE they just wasting talent. You know how they go. So, also we heard that it's gonna be Christian versus Frank Kazarian, Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, an exhibition match with Arn Anderson, special guest referee, Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor versus Miro and Kip Sabian in the Arcade Anarchy. So we don't know what that means. It's gonna be arcade games around the ring, and you're gonna have to fight in the art. I mean, it's getting crazier and crazier. I mean, crazier. And then Hiroshita and Ty Conti versus the Bunny and Nia Rose. We meant the Bunny did come out there, so she's coming out there for some. Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid. Also, Scorpio Sky saying he's getting tired of being screwed, and he'll be the face of Revolution. And on Mondays, he'll be Sky versus Mike Sydal. Good God. And Darby Allin versus John Silver with the Dark Order in his corner for the TNT title. Darby, it was a good match. Sting came out there, and then they had Matt Hardy came out there with his team, and the Private Party, and the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, with the Dark Order and Sting, and it's getting crazier and crazier each week on AEW. It's like Pier 6 Brawl. But you know how that go. All right, that ends the AEW Ring Report. Thank you all for watching this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. I've been your host, Kenny Dick, saying so long. We'll see you next week for another edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. See you later.